Well, there's a break in the action. Let me bring in our guest for this hour. Joining us is National Trial Attorney Michael Jaafar. Michael, great to see you. As always, thank you so much for joining me here on the program. And I got to say, normally, when you call a forensic accountant to the stand, you can probably think that you're going to be put to sleep. It can be a little drug, a slog to get through. Not this one, though, because it's understandable stuff, and it's sort of contained. There was this property, there was this much money, she lost and gained this, she was in debt to this amount. It's easy to understand, and I'm going to go as far as to say a little bit compelling.
Yeah, absolutely. To sum it up and to keep it very simple for me, what they're trying to do is show the jury that Kouri Richins was a financial deadbeat, complete deadbeat, right? And I'm sure everybody in the jury has known a financial deadbeat, and so when they were preparing for this this direct examination and bringing this witness, they thought, hey, let's paint a picture of Kouri Richins being a total financial deadbeat, right? So you said that forensic accounts are boring to follow. Why would you say that, Mike? Why would you assume that, right? They're really interesting to follow. But no, you're right. Now, I was interested in following it. I have an accounting degrry, so for me, I was looking at it as a juror, right? As a juror, you're thinking, yeah, I can't follow this stuff. Many jurors will say, I have buddies who say, I can't look at my taxes. I just give it to the accountant and I don't look at it, and it makes me dizzy. But they did it. They kind of are spoon-feeding the jury in kind of a nice way. It was easy to follow, and I think it's compelling. They need to show that Kouri Richins is a financial deadbeat, because I think that's why she's on trial, because she had the motive to kill her husband if she did it.
Now, first of all, I just want to say, Michael, I admire accountants. I absolutely do. That was not my point. I absolutely do. What they do is incredible, and I could never do it. So certainly I want to say that. The second thing is, I think it goes a step further as far as what the jury, what the state wants the jury to take away from this. Because as I'm listening to this and the way these debts are piling up and they keep growing, and you can see she wants to keep going and she's chasing the next deal to pay off the last. I can feel the stress building, right? I can feel it. And that's what they say was the motive for her to kill her husband. So I think it even goes to that level.
100%. I think what they're going to say in their closing statements is she was this hopeful, buffoonish, foolish artist. She can write books. We all know, and they're gonna play on the jury and say, we all know people who, and they're gonna say it much more eloquently than this. We all know people who are very artistic. They're good at music. They're good at poetry, but they're terrible with money. She was awful with money, and she had every incentive to cover her tracks. And she wasn't even going to get his business if he died. So she had to kill him, and she did it to cover up for her financial mistakes. They're gonna play, and what they're not gonna tell the jury, because it's just understood, is when people have financial strain, it messes with their minds and it makes them do monstrous things. This is what they're gonna. They want to spoon feed that message in much more eloquence than I just said it to the jury.
Yeah, no question. And folks out there, if you're thinking about flipping houses, trust me, it's not as easy as they make it look on TV. It is a tough game, and she learned the hard way. All right, Mike, stand by. We're going to take a break here, folks. All right, while they're taking that little break, I'm going to bring back in our guest this hour, National Trial Attorney Michael Jaafar. Michael, when I look at all the transactions that were going on during this time, it's a little difficult for me to believe that Eric didn't know about any of this. I can see how a wife could take out, a HELOC without the husband knowing. But at some point, all of these dealings, you would think he would know. Now, if they can show some way that he knew, I think that would be a very strong defense for Kouri Richins.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought about it till you just said it. Yeah, I mean, they have the same mailing address. If he's a person, and he is a person who's successful in business, what does every successful business person do when they come home every day? They check their mail, right? There's no way that he would have never stumbled upon, I check mail. Like, I know every piece of financial information my wife gets. I'm not snooping on her. I just know because I check the mail every day. Once in a while, she'll check the mail, but she'll get a statement from a credit card or a Macy's or whatever the case may be. So there's no way he wouldn't have known that she was doing something. Maybe he just didn't care. I think it would be valuable to the defense. Maybe that's what they're going to do on cross-examination. But at the same time, if you're the state and you're painting her out to be a financial deadbeat, and then he built a trust to protect his assets from you and did all these things, I think they have enough to show that she had the financial motive. Whether or not she did it or not is the next thing, but that she had the financial motive to off him so that she could take his money, because she's dumb enough to do all these other dumb things. Maybe she thought that getting him out of the way would solve her financial problems. Maybe.
Yeah, it's possible. Because she had 7 million reasons, right? She was $7 million in debt. So you don't have to go much further than that. All right, Mike, stand by. We'll take folks back into the court days. They've gotten going again.